CBS 46 News presents Public Affairs on Peach.
Good morning to you. I'm Vince Sims. Welcome to Public Affairs on Peach. We're going to accentuate the positive this morning as we introduce you to people making a difference in the African American community. And we begin with Dr. R.L. White, Senior Pastor of Mount Ephraim Baptist Church. That's on West Marietta Street in Northwest Atlanta. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure being with you too. Thank you for having me.
All right. So if this is correct in my math, 50 years there, that means you started back in 1968. Preaching.
Yes, actually, when I first started preaching, I started in Washington, D.C., and I was in Washington when Dr. King was killed. Wow. So it was in 1968. Later in that year, well, actually 69, I moved back to Atlanta.
All right. Starting to preach at that time when Dr. King was assassinated, how has the civil rights movement and all of that affected you and the way you preach?
Well, it's affected me deeply. I was reared in Macon, Georgia. And we felt profoundly that sense of segregation and mistreatment of people of color. Once a white man, he said I called him a liar. I told him what I had done. He said, "No, you didn't." I said, "Yes, I did." He said, "You're going to jail." So for the first time in my life, and the only time I've been in jail was about 5 hours because I called him a liar, and that's what he had told.
Wow. Right.
So you can see I've been affected deeply. My father's lawn was set afire by the Ku Klux Klan in the early 60s.
And living through that, does that change or affect what you preach, the message you preach now today?
Well, my message has been basically one of arming our people to be happy and proud of each other and how much we can accomplish. It has not been a message of hate. It's been one of love where I encourage people who want to be something. They can do it without begging people to do something for them.
Now, 50 years in the ministry like that, so know that you started out rather small. I know Mount Ephraim now and the church that you have now. So talk to us about, you actually started in an apartment?
Yes, I had an apartment right out on Northside Drive, and I never will forget June the 15th, 1970. We had 13 people to join our brand new church.
13 people to join the church starting out in an apartment. And tell us about your congregation size now and how you are.
Well, we've had over 15,000 people to come to the ministry. As you know, by attrition, some are there, some are not there, but we've got somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 regular members.
All right. So anybody who attends your church, they'll know how important music is to you. We know that that's an important thing for you. So talk to us about how important that is and the singing. We will hear you do recordings as well.
Oh, yes. Well, when I was a child, my mother taught me how to sing. And when I grew up, I was singing little groups around Macon, Georgia. And it became so much to me. I say that I preach because I have to, but I sing because I love to. And we get people come, and especially those who are attracted to music. And I say that music is the PR tool for the church.
Okay, I agree with that. Now, I want to ask you about, because this is a story we've covered together, I've actually interviewed you about this, the gun buyback programs you've done. You were president of the NAACP for 15 years. Talk to us about the gun buyback program that you do and why that's so important.
The reason that's so important, when I go through our neighborhoods and I see kids with guns, I remember one neighborhood not too far from my church. That was this young guy. He had I guess some sort of 9mm, whatever it is, in his hands, kids walking around, nobody paying any attention. But I also kept hearing about what happened like yesterday, a couple of days ago here. So I believed that we needed to get some of these guns out of the community. And so being with the NAACP as president at that time, then I inaugurated that drive, and we netted right at 1,000 guns. And then in 2000, I think last year, 2017, we had another gun buyback. So we've netted close to 1,500 guns off the street.
All right. As we talk about that, and you were talking about what we've seen happen down at the school in Florida, you do the gun buyback program to try to help the community. We are living in some divisive times right now. What words would you leave our viewers with in a few sentences to try to give us some comfort, some encouragement?
Well, what I would say to our people now, we are in divisive times. We don't know when you leave home in the morning whether you'll be able to get back home that same night, because it's like a random kind of thing. But for us to be prepared that if you see something that looks bad, tell somebody about it. In the meantime, don't let your children play with guns. Don't leave them lying around, because what I have to do is bury those children. And to see the pain in the parents, it's devastating. But there is still hope. And we've got to reclaim good parenting. And I believe that will help.
All right. Reverend White, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you being with us. Always a pleasure to be in your presence, sir.
Well, the pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. All right, when Public Affairs on Peach returns, we'll continue to accentuate the positive. You'll meet a man who is igniting a passion for art in the African American community.